Welcome to WHW webinar series. My name is Alice, the Business Manager in eLearning Minds. I'm your host today. Before we start, there are a few housekeeping I would like to address. So firstly, just check to ensure that your name listed in the webinar is right so that we know who you are. Just participate in this session and you can use the chat room to interact with all of us. Yeah. At the same time, feel free to put any of your questions in the Q&A box. Last but not least, stay engaged and have fun. All right, so our topics for today is Articulate 360 Training Preview. In this webinar, you are going to have an overview about this training. What is it all about, the flow, some of the highlights, and what would be the learning outcomes for this training. And I'm honored to have our expert in this webinar today, Elena Lin, who is the certified trainer for Articulate. She has more than 10 years of experience in developing e-learning content. With more than thousands of participants that she has trained, now a lot of organizations able to produce their own DIY e-learning content for a more sustainable way. Without further ado, let's have Elena.
Okay. So today I'll be presenting to you what is Articulate 360. Are you curious? So if you are curious, let's jump in. Okay. Now, this is the slide. So firstly, now we actually received some of the participants' feedback. These are some of the participants' feedback from the training itself. Let's say we conducted virtual side, we conducted even face-to-face. So some of the feedbacks, that is lots of demo samples, animation, learn by practicing, because they have questions for us. And plus they have more time to ask questions to us as well. As a trainer, sometimes we also pass them LMS COM information. What is the LMS that you are engaged in, so that we can address some of the issues to them as well. So these are some of the samples. So right now, let's jump in. What is Articulate 360? Okay, are you curious? Once you subscribe to Articulate 360, you have the whole suite of 7 different softwares, which is Storyline 360, Studio 360, Replay 360, Peak 360, Articulate 360 Training, Review 360, as well as Rise 360. Now, it is one of the award-winning e-learning authoring software in the world. Okay, why is it one of the award-winning? Back in 2014, they have won the Brandon Halls Award. That is one of the top 1 software in the world. And it has been utilized the whole, all around the world in different industries. Okay, different industries means that we go with manufacturing, distribution, retail, financial services even. So all kinds of industry uses Articulate. So what if you are an institution, not an organization? So basically you can make use of institutions to actually go with Articulate 360 as well. Like lecturers, they can actually onboard with Articulate 360 training. Okay, so now Articulate 360 is also embedded with 9 million course assets. What are the course assets? Meaning that they have templates for you to use. Templates, that means you have ready-made content. Ready-made content, once you embed with it, you can customize your content to put in your localized content itself. And then also, not only that, you also have templates. Templates means that, let's say you want a question templates, that you can also onboard with that. Then you can customize to your own needs. Okay, so all kinds of templates, and plus, you have also characters. Okay, characters that comes from photographic, modern illustration, or even classic illustration. Okay, all kinds of expression will come out, and plus different poses as well. Okay, so now course assets also is included. That means you can actually go in with images, illustrations, icons, as well as videos. So that's how all the course assets have been accumulated. Now, when they first launched in 2017, back in November 2017, they only have 2 million over assets. But after 5 years, they have actually grown. Okay, grown in such a huge amount. So that's where they work with different experts to build the content library even. Okay, now we call Articulate 360 as an end-to-end solution. Okay, end-to-end solution meaning that we have Articulate 360. We build, once we actually receive the content from the clients, we actually build the storyboard based on Articulate. That means you build it inside storyboard, and then after that, we actually publish into review. So that's where we integrate from storyline, we publish into review 360. Why we need to publish into review 360? It is because review 360 will be able to consolidate all the different feedbacks, okay, from your stakeholders, from your subject matter experts. They just need the online way, okay? That means they do not need to be licensed. Only the content authors will need to be licensed. That's it. Okay, then after they have agreed what are the changes based on the storyboard, we move into the construction, the development side. What does it incur under the development side? Meaning that we enhance the interaction, we add in narration, okay, we synchronize with the narration. That means also we enhance all kinds of things like graphics, videos, and everything else, so that you get an engaging course in the end. Okay, so this is why all these things is very important for you, because right now we are moving into the modern way of training all of our participants. Am I right? Okay, so this is Article 360. So we will focus into two different main softwares, which is Storyline 360 as well as Rise 360. So let's move into Storyline 360. Storyline 360 is simple enough for beginners and powerful enough for experts. Why we say that? Now, once they launched the version 1 of Storyline, this tagline has been going on since from the beginning. Okay, why is it simple enough for beginners? Okay, lecturers will be able to use it, trainers will be able to use it, even students. Okay, so students that has not a clue about designing, about programming, they are able to utilize it. Okay, and plus powerful enough for experts. Experts like us, content developers, okay, content developers that has programming background, that have designer background. So all those people, we can also onboard them with Articulate 360. That's how they can actually churn out all the content development projects. Okay, so this one is a standalone software. That means you need to install into your PC or desktop. Okay, so that's how you can make use of Storyline 360. Now, this is one of the main software that Articulate actually goes for. Okay, whenever people actually ask us to create the content that is more engaging, more flexible, we definitely choose Storyline 360. Okay, now I have also some samples. What are the interactions that you are able to create based on Storyline 360? Let's see. You can create interaction based. Now, all of these samples, I will only show certain samples to you, okay? So interaction based, that means this one, sometimes you click, you reveal certain pop-up, okay? Some of the pop-ups is that more in-depth of learning, plus it will synchronize with certain narration, all sorts of things. And sometimes we also require users to actually explore, like this sample, okay? This sample, okay, the uncover the ancient Egypt. So that's where they actually uncover the sand, and then they can click, okay, in order to review the pop-up. So that's where they learn further. So sometimes it's exploration mode, sometimes you need to click, sometimes it is swipe, okay? So Storyline 360 is able to cater for that, okay? So later on, I'll share some samples to you. Now, also, Storyline 360 will be able to create interactive video that is downloaded from YouTube. Do you think it's interactive? It is a basic interaction only. Now, interactive video means that you can actually pause for a moment to actually segregate or divide into different modules, or plus you can actually put in more questions in, okay, to actually ask them what are the lessons learned based on what I've actually taught. Okay, so things like that you can add on further. Okay, so now, scenario-based also you can create from Storyline 360. Okay, scenario-based. Now, scenario-based, we have actually a few formats. So I'll showcase to you some of the formats. Now, one of the format is that sometimes you end with lessons learned only. Okay, sometimes lessons learned or factors that is implicating to the organization. Okay, and sometimes you end with questions. questions that you allow the learners to attempt so that you know what are the analyzing or what are the evaluation based on the learner's thinking head. Then you are able to analyze what is their thinking head based on the LMS. Okay, so all those things you can actually churn out. Storyline will be able to achieve that. Okay. Now, next one, you'll be able to engage your learners based on the practices, quizzes, games, assessment. Okay, so all those things, let's say you want to create a game. Okay, so that's where you can actually accumulate your points up a level, or you want to collect any gadgets, also can. So now let's move into the samples. Just give me a few moments. Now this sample is that you uncover the ancient Egypt. Okay, so this one, they say there are 5 items hidden in the sand. First, use the metal detector to find the item's location. So this is a metal detector. So let's say I click close, then use the brush to remove the sand and uncover the facts about the ancient Egypt. So let's say you move it. So let's say, so this is uncovering. Okay, so we create triggers, and then after that, I explore by shading it. Okay, then after that, I click into the shaded icon. And after that, let's say learn more, then it reveals a graphic. So that's where I know what is Pharaoh all about. Okay, so that's how it is. So this is uncovering. Okay, next sample that I have is page turn interaction. Now, ebook. Okay, take the analogy of a book. Mostly we learn through books in the past, but right now, the modern world, they learn through okay, where the social networking, they run through, everything is about swipe, right? So this is an ebook that you can put out whatever information that you want. So this sample, so let's say I click here and it flips the page. So this is one sample that we put in a video, a template that you can actually change on. Okay, so whatever things that you want to put on, you can change. Okay, so this one, you can change the text, you can put on anything, any graphics. So this ebook will be able to showcase case examples, case scenarios, question-based even, okay, or a scenario-based, or simulation even. Okay, so all those things you can actually create, okay, using Storyline. Now, the interactive video portion, which is something like this. Now, the only thing that is real, now this one you notice that is CIMB. Okay, CIMB is that they've given us the permission, so that's why I can showcase this, okay, because this is part of the proposal. Okay, now the only thing that is real, which is herself, Katnor Suryani. She's the trainer, and she only holds the clicker. Okay, and this is her slides. How she trained, we asked her to actually do the normal way of how she trained, and then after that, we will edit the video after that. Okay, so this one, we only need 2 weeks in order to comply. Okay, 2 weeks in order to do it. So now, she actually came to our studio to record 2 hours. She recorded 3 times. So the recorded version, after it's edited, is only 30 minutes long. Now, 30 minutes, that's where we add in this style of interaction. Now, this interaction, it breaks out into different modules. So say, for example, I click into the first module, and it goes into the video again. Now, sometimes you wanted to have even the teaser questions. Okay, that means, let's say we add in the teaser questions in between before she actually want to actually explain what is cross-selling, what is product bundling, and what is referral. So all those things you can embed. So this is the part that is interactive. Okay, so you can actually churn out, I can drag. Let's say I didn't read, okay, so that's where I click submit and I get the incorrect answer. So I try again and I click submit again. So this is how you can actually recap the lesson as a teaser, and plus once I click continue, it goes on to the next video. Okay, so this is how. Now the next sample is a game. Okay, like a game, this is searching the words. So the thing is, I need to search for different wines, okay, in this game. So in order for that, I need to click the first character and the last character. Then it will change. Now, Caladoc is the first one, so look for the words itself. The first character comes from C over here. So I found it. So that's where I click C and it changes color. Okay, then the next one, I click C again, which is the last character. So once I click, the whole thing is actually changing. Okay, then it also strikes true. Now, once I accumulate, okay, once I get it right, you can actually put up the level up. That means you go on into the next module. Okay, so all sorts of things that you can create using Storyline 360. Okay, now, right now, back to my slides. Okay, we want to run through RISE 360 even. Now, RISE 360, Storyline 360, everything is mobile responsive, definitely. Okay, RISE 360 is a web authoring software. Okay, it has around 45% to 50% of Storyline features. Now, a lot of times that people will start with RISE 360 first, after they have gone through the training, okay? But at first when they approach us, they want to start with Storyline 360 first. But after they've gone through the training, they feel that RISE 360 is the right path. Okay, right path meaning they start with RISE 360. When they go into the next phase of content development, they actually put in the Storyline 360 to enhance the RISE. And towards the next phase even, they will do everything in Storyline 360. Okay, so that you can actually change the culture of your organization even. Okay, so it has around that. Okay, 45 to 50%. Okay, so right now all of the softwares is something like that. So RISE 360 is a web authoring software and is player responsive, content responsive even. Okay, now RISE 360 meaning I need to show you some samples. Okay, so this is scrolling through, is different from Storyline 360. Let's have a look. Now this is one sample that I have. Okay, so once you scroll down, that means I can click into this to review further. Okay, so all of it you can just bring in your template, okay, and feed in your content. Storyline you build from scratch. RISE meaning that you have templates ready, you just feed in your content, and that's it. It's so simple, am I right? Then you think that I'm simple, yeah? So I'm not joking, yeah. Then after that, you can click into this. This is what we call label graphic. Okay, so this label graphic, you are able to put a GIF file as well to review certain things as well. Like this one, you can click to review. Plus, it also has knowledge check. So like this one is a process one. So all these things, you can actually see that. Okay, the next one, okay, I want to see checking your blind spot. Okay, now this one we embedded a video. Okay, so let's say you click play.
Biases are often things
Okay,
you learned
this is a
early in your
video that we
childhood.
created through
At that
another
time,
third-party
you probably
software.
developed
We
a strong
embed
sense of
into
what is
RISE,
normal and not
and
normal.
then after that
According
we
to your
embed
family,
into Storyline,
school,
then coming into
community,
RISE, because
religious
after the video has
affiliations,
ended,
and
we put
social
on
and
certain
cultural
questions
connections.
for them. Okay,
Keep in
let's
mind
take a
that
look on
norms
the
differ
video.
from one culture to the next, and they don't always predict how things will be in the future. Norms and attitudes are ever changing, and it is important that you keep an eye on your biases and keep an open mind. From the video that you have watched,
This is
where
the
do you think
interaction.
biases come from? You can select more than one answers.
So let's say I select. Okay, let's say I just select, I didn't read the question, and then I just click submit. So this is the
Biases are
feedback
formed
that
from
came.
all these things.
Okay, so
That's
all those
why it's
things you can
important to remember
create
that there are
through
many
RISE
points of
as
view
well
for every
as Storyline.
situations that
So
you
different
encounter.
softwares
Always
will
try to
come
think
in
about all sides
when
of
you
an
need
issue or
it. It
situation.
is able to
Be aware of
integrate.
what you are thinking
Okay,
and why,
so let's
so
go
that you
back
become more
into
aware
my
of your biases.
slides. Okay, so we move on into the training itinerary. Now, standard for Articulate 360 training, we have 5 days. Okay, now you can see that all the exercises is in different sessions, so it is a very interactive one, very engaging one. So the participants say that, wow, towards the second day, they are very overwhelmed already. That's where we train them. They are able to ask us questions, they do the practices, that's where they never fall asleep. Okay, so this is the 5 days training. If you want to know the details of it, you can actually contact our business side. Okay, now let's talk about e-learning minds trainers for Articulate 360. Okay, we are very different because I'm part of the trainer. Okay, we are very different, we are exceptional. Why we are exceptional? Because we do not just train you back on the features and functions. We train you also how to apply this feature or this function into your content development. Okay, that's what's different. A lot of trainers out there, they only train features and functions. Okay, they only can tell you what, how, but they do not say that how you are able to apply this particular feature into your content. Okay, so that's what's different. Sometimes I will also ask the participants itself, how can you make this feature work for you? What is your content concern even? So that's where they will share, and I'll be able to provide the solution to them. That's why we are exceptional. Okay. Next one, we are also experienced. Why we are experienced? Because I was coming in as from the content development team previously. I've worked in e-learning minds for more than 10 years right now. Based on the experience that I have under Articulate Storyline or even Article 360 Suite, right now we are all experienced. The trainers come from content development. So we know the industry, we know what you want even. Sometimes most of the solutions that we give you is the right one. Sometimes we give you a workaround solutions even. There's nothing that we can say that, no, you can't do it. Okay, so no is a no-no option for us. Okay, now we are also an outstanding consulting and support group. Okay, now most of the time I would receive support from different people, so that's where I can say that I can actually solve 95% of their requests. What's the remaining 5% then? The 5% remaining is that sometimes we need to liaise with the different principals. That means we need to test out through the LMS, the learning management system side, or to test out why do certain findings based on the learner side. So that's what takes time. Okay, so all these things we actually do it. Sorry. Okay, so now basically that is that. Okay, we are outstanding consulting support. Next thing is that we also share applicable samples. Samples that is templates, okay? Templates that is downloadable from e-learning heroes. Now, all these templates we are giving out to our participants every day. Okay, so 5 days of training, definitely every session there are different templates for you to utilize it, okay, in order to fast track your production time. Okay, so this is what is exceptional to us. Okay, that is the main difference. So this is where sometimes the samples that they actually receive, I also noticed that some of the participants or the past participants, they actually use the samples to actually create their content. Okay, now next thing is that these are our trainers. So this is myself, Elina Lim, and plus we have also Nur Faiza binti Hamdan, which focus under the content development. And plus, we also have facilitators. So these are the facilitators. So sometimes we have a bigger group, like more than 10 people, so we'll bring in 1 or 2 facilitators in, so that they are able to guide you, okay? So all these facilitators are from the content development team. So they are well versed into Article 360, definitely, okay? Yeah. Now, these are some of our past trainings, okay? This is Kowe. I believe you all know who is Kowe, okay? They are a fun group, okay? So they are, we handled the virtual training. This was actually done early this year, okay? They are a fun group to handle or fun group to train on because they ask us a lot of questions. And this one is another trainer training the session itself, and this is dedicated training during the pandemic situation. So because sometimes it opens up, okay, the pandemic situation, so that's where I go there. I believe it's Kuala Selangor side, that is IKBN, okay. Then this one is a public class, and this one we got foreign countries that join in, like Cebu Pacific, as you can see, okay, virtual class as well. This is conducted sometime early this year even. And this one is institution. If you are coming from an institution, this one we train for Institute Aminuddin Baki. Okay, so some of them, they are well versed right now. They are creating content. And this one is part of Petronas and part of the public classroom. Okay, so this is quite a lot of people. They also engage us for the coaching side. That's where I coach them in order to fast track their production time. And this whole group, this is ABS, Asian Banking School. Now this one, towards the first year of the pandemic situation, we trained them virtually. So that's where they have 80 participants or 86 participants. We split them into 2 different groups, and then we train them 2 different sessions. Okay, so this is how we can actually onboard all of them. Okay, now this was a training trained last week only. Okay, so my our facilitator is guiding them, so I just took a picture back in the room. Okay, because he was guiding them. Okay, so this was an interesting group because they wanted a dedicated class. Okay, that's why we flipped the training a bit, and that's why right now they are creating the content, and after 2 weeks they will come back and then ask us questions whether they face any challenges. Okay, now let's go through the training flow. Okay, now first 1 or 2 weeks before the actual day of the training, we will pass you enrollment. Okay, enrollment into our learning management system. This is where you can download the pre-evaluation, you submit to us, okay, and then you can also download the participant folder. Okay, and plus we also pass you pre-readings. Pre-readings meaning that some of the installation steps, some of the whitelisting steps, and plus how to manage your team. Okay, so all these things is under the first 2 weeks. Okay, next thing, on the actual day itself, whether virtual or face-to-face, okay, so all these things will be done on that day. Now for virtual, definitely it will be recorded. Okay, and you'll be able to access the recorded version to recap the lessons. And plus you also have post readings. Post readings means that we pass you the tips and tricks. Tips and tricks means that best practices, tips and tricks coming from Article 360. Sometimes we have requests from learners. That's where we put on the tips and tricks as well. Okay, and lastly, we also have the post-evaluation. Now, this is where we start to improve our training delivery, whether the trainer side or whether the syllabus of the training even. So this is how we can actually enhance the training further. Then after the post-evaluation, you will actually create your, not to say create, it will generate an e-certificate for you. Okay. Now what learners will get, once you enroll into our learning management system, this is how our learning management system looks like. So you'll get introduction to Article 360, pre-readings, Article assistance specs, Article 360 reference guides, virtual class, recordings, post-evaluation, and Article tips and tricks. So what you will get is like pre-readings. This is a sample that I have. That means you compare between different softwares of Articulate, Captivate, as well as iSpring. Reference guides. Reference guides are like manuals. Okay, manuals are important for you, right? So now our manuals is actually online right now. So that's where you'll be able to get the latest updates, where the videos, all of it is in the reference guides, even homeworks, practices, optional exercises even. So all this will be updating daily. Now next one that we have, now after the training, you'll be having this screen where you have recordings there. Then after that, you can click on the links, and plus based on the trainer, we will upload our files in. So it's up to the learners whether they want to download, okay, for the recap session. And plus we also have tips and tricks like I mentioned earlier. So this is what learners will get, okay? So let's now, just now I actually mentioned about what trainers are in eLearning Minds. So right now, let's see what you will get in the end, okay? Tips and tricks, definitely you will get that. Best practices, okay? Now, so over thousands of participants that I've encountered, most of the participants is that they learn by themselves, okay? Don't you think so? They learn by themselves through Article 360 website, they learn it by themselves and they think they are capable enough. But occasionally, I actually see certain people, they hit another person, okay? And they say, why you need 10 steps? This one only needs 4 steps, okay? So this is the sample that I actually encountered before. This is a fun one. Okay, so tips and tricks, best practices, definitely you will get. And recorded video, okay, definitely you will get 1 month access. Okay, 1 month access, definitely you'll be able to recap all the lessons that you need. Okay, so you also get reference guides. Okay, then also you will get practices, optional exercises. Okay, so all those things you can get, plus free webinar updates. Okay, free webinar updates meaning that because softwares right now are actually upgrading with new features they want to introduce. Now, the free webinar updates occasionally that we have to update you all, what are the new features that they introduce so that you can actually use that into your content development. So all those things that learners will get. Plus, you have 1 month access. 1 month access means that you got more than the training, the 5 days training. You have more than 1 month, okay, to access to the trainers, okay, to be in touch with the trainers even. So the post-training, you are worried on the post-training, okay? Or sometimes you have concerns on the post-training. What will I do after the training is done? So this is one thing that we also provide support, consultancy, as well as coaching. Okay, support side meaning is a technical support where we go through the installation, whitelisting side based on the software. Consultancy means that we go through the software features and functions. Okay, coaching means that we train one-to-one. That means you pass us the content, we give you solution or work around solution to that. Okay, so this one you can contact the business side of things. Okay, now right now why e-learning minds? Why choose e-learning minds for Article 360 training? We are one certified trainer, okay, around this region. This region means that Southeast Asia region. We are the only one. Now, why we are the only one? We are certified through Yukon Learning. Now, Articulate has authorized Yukon Learning. Both are residing in the US. Yukon Learning is the sole party to provide training around the world. And Yukon Learning has certified us to provide training around Southeast Asia region. So that's why we are the only one. You can search under the websites of Articulate or Yukon Learning for that. Next thing, we also follow the syllabus based on Yukon Learning, okay? And plus, we are the first in line for the software updates. So that's where we research, we test it out, and then we can inform you how to apply that kind of feature into your content development. Okay, next one, we are also experienced. Imagine myself, I have 8 years or more than 10 years of experience in content development, and plus the training, I've been conducting training since 2014. Not only that, okay, so that's where I've been training Articulate Storyline since 2014, and right now Articulate 360. So I have evolved with Articulate itself. So we are definitely very experienced in that, okay? So then, if you have budget constraints, for example, we are also micro-credential and HRD compliant. Okay, so whoever who has budget constraint, please register with them. You won't regret. Okay. Now, next one. These are some of our clienteles. Some of them, they actually engage us for the content. That means they outsource to us for the content development. Some of them, they actually engage us for the software. That means they want to purchase Articulate 360. And some of them, they actually engage us for the training services or consulting services. So all those things we actually do. Now, these are only a gist of the clients. Right now, we have more than that. Okay, so we also have some of the foreign countries one like Singapore, Philippines, or even Vietnam. So all those things we actually use, and plus the education parties also we have actually put on the logos itself. Okay, some of them they are long-time customers. Okay, they are continuing with our services. Okay, now next one. These are some of the feedbacks. The words that come out from the participants itself during the pandemic situation. So sometimes they say, very good, professionally delivered. How to utilize layers, slides, and states, tips and tricks of Article 360. They have time to ask us questions even. Training is excellent and engaging. Okay, so all those things we definitely put out to them. Okay, so this is where sometimes it's important for you to know as well. Okay, now next one, what are the training types that are available under Articulate? We have the standard one, which is 5 days. We can conduct whether virtual or face-to-face. How long will be the session? Session will be 3.5 hours per session. Okay, now per session, that means 3.5 hours. Per day, it will be 7 hours. And next one, you have RISE 360. RISE 360 is only 1 day session. Okay, 1 day session, that means the first half a day, you will learn all the features. The next half a day, you will learn Review 360. And then we ask you to actually put in your content, start to build it straight away. So that's how they can benefit to fast track the production. And plus, we also have Storyline 360 Basic. Okay, basic, that means from the content side, you build your content up to publishing side into SCORM compliant. Okay, now we also have dedicated training. Dedicated training, that means it's personalized to your organization. Sometimes you flip the training, okay, sometimes they say, oh, they only want simulation. So that's where we focus into simulation side. Okay, so all these types of training, you can contact us, the business side, for more information. Okay, now the next one is Q&A. Okay, I finished my presentation. So right now, Q&A session, you can ask us any questions based on the training, based on the softwares, or anything related to the previous softwares of Articulate even. So right now, I pass back to our host, Alice.
All right, welcome back. So now is our Q&A session, as what Elena mentioned. So yeah, we do have collect some of the questions that posted from the participants, and we are going to cover some of the questions for today. So let's start on the first questions. All right, so for the lecturers, is the training suitable for us? We don't have experience to creating e-learning content. Yeah, Elena.
This is an interesting question, definitely. Now, some of you all may be coming from the institutions, okay? So institutions are worried or concerned how they can onboard with Articulate 360. Now, previously, we also trained for IAB, which is Institute of Aminuddin Baki. We also train public universities as well. So they are able to onboard with Articulate 360. That's where they are creating the content for their lectures or tutorials. And plus, sometimes is that they have different sessions. That means they created a course for learning storyline. That means they train their students into using storyline as well. That is great, right? So, yeah.
Wow, so meaning that's pretty simple in that sense.
Yes.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, so let's go into the second questions. So is there any skills? Yeah, this is my questions as well. Is there any questions required? Is there any skills required to attend this training?
Well, what skill set do you think? Okay, skill set, I would say that you would require PowerPoint. Okay, because unlike other softwares you may need other prerequisites, but storyline side, you may need only PowerPoint skills. That's where it's similar to PowerPoint. The layout is definitely similar. The features and functions, sometimes you also have the PowerPoint thing. Okay, so that's why you only need PowerPoint skills. And sometimes the PowerPoint skill side, we also require you to actually know the animations, how to create animations, how to actually copy and paste different slides, and then how to format shape, yeah, those kind of things. I think that would do, okay? And plus, yeah, that is it, that you need PowerPoint only.
Right, so with the PowerPoint, I think almost all of us
yes,
can easily use the tools to create the content then.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Next, do I need to get the license first before joining the training?
Now, I would say that do I need to get licensed first, okay, before you join the training? Now, I would say that half of the participants, I've trained thousands of people, half of the participants, sometimes they come in without a license, so that's where they actually install the trial version. Trial version only 30 days, okay? So that's where you have, plus the trial version itself, you have the full features. So that's where, now, that's where you are able to use the trial version to develop your content directly. Okay, so that's how you can save time into developing your content even. Now, the trial version has no limit. Okay, you can use Rise, you can use Storyline, Studio 360, or whatever softwares under Articulate 360, basically.
Wow,
yeah.
So meaning that with the free trial, I immediately can straight away use it even during the training. So even creating a whole suit of the training outline that we're going to cover?
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
even the content library.
Wow.
Okay, content library, you'll be able to access to different characters, you'll be able to access to different templates, even searching under the content library assets. Okay, so all those things you can make use, definitely.
Wow,
okay.
So everyone, you already know where you can get the free trial version. All right, let's move into the next questions. All right. Oh, okay, we have a participant asking that any upcoming training, do you offer face-to-face training in Penang?
In Penang, that's an interesting one. You came from Penang, is it? Yeah. Now, Any upcoming training, definitely we have monthly trainings, okay, monthly trainings that is virtual. Sometimes we also have inquiries for the face-to-face training. That's where, as long as it doesn't clash with the the virtual training site, that's where we can cater for. Plus, if let's say in Penang, I would love to go to Penang. The food is nice, right? Yes. So Penang, that means I can go there as long as the training time does not clash with the meetings that I have, and plus the training for virtual training that I conduct. So yeah, I believe I can conduct in Penang or any places around Malaysia. Okay. Now, occasionally I also conduct in Singapore. Before the pandemic situation, I actually go to Singapore quarterly. Okay, we conduct in Singapore face to face. That's where I go to Singapore. I've actually been to Philippines to conduct a training before. Okay, Philippines side, I have 25 participants. That is a big group.
Wow.
Yeah, one big room. It's a long room. And the next session that I have is also 20 people that I have, which is amazing. So so I've conducted in Philippines, and plus I've also conducted in Thailand, but using English, okay, not Thai. I can't speak Thai. So yeah, so those are the trainings that we can fly towards the place to conduct, definitely.
Wow, that's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, okay, so hi both. Do we have any recommendations on the device specs for us to develop content?
Yes, I do have. Now you can search under the URL, okay, under the browser site, Article 360 system specs. That is the minimum specs that you need, okay, for all kinds of devices, whether viewing, whether creating of content. Now that is the minimum specs only, but it does not actually cater if you want to open concurrently for your Outlook, for your office wares like PowerPoint, Word, Excel, all those things, or even Adobe softwares. Okay, so that's why, let's say the minimum specs, it only caters for Article 360. So that's where we need you to also double up or triple up, especially your RAM, your processor, as well as your hard disk. That's it. Okay.
All right. So it triggers, it triggers me with another question though. So meaning that are we able to use a MacBook?
No.
No?
Nah, you can't. Now, Mac itself, you can cater for only Peak. Peak 360. Peak 360 will be able to utilize inside Macintosh, but not other softwares. Now, Articulate only focuses into creating in Windows. Back then, I think a few years back, or long time ago, around 8 years back, we asked them this question, and they came back saying that, well, we have moved on, we focus into Windows already. Okay? They don't want to focus into Macintosh, so that's where only Peak will be able to cater for both environments, that is Macintosh and Windows. The rest of the softwares is only Windows. Now, if you have Macintosh, okay, that you want to work on, okay, so you need to install a virtual operating system, is it? VMware or something like that, okay, 2 different OS, okay, inside your Macintosh. So your Articulate 360 will go into your, your virtual OS, and then your Office, MS Office also goes into your Windows so that you can integrate with that.
Yeah,
okay.
So meaning that's something like a parallel
parallel, that's parallel environment, am I right? Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
yes.
cool. So, so let's go into the next questions. All right, so yeah, here comes our last questions. Oh, there's more coming in. Okay, thank you for having more questions from the participants. I'm using Articulate Storyline 3 now. What is the differences between Storyline 3 and Articulate 360?
Storyline 3 and Articulate 360, you are using Storyline 3, meaning. Now, there is quite a lot of difference. Storyline 3 meaning that you cannot actually access to content library, your course assets. Second thing that you cannot access, which is the Review 360, to collect all the, the feedbacks from the subject matter experts itself. Third thing that you cannot access is that the publishing, okay? Articulate 360 has publishing to video as well as Review 360. Storyline has only 4 formats to publish. Articulate 360 has 6 different formats. And the last thing, not to say the last thing, there are more to that, but one of the typical ones is the triggers. Triggers, definitely Articulate 360 has more triggers, okay, inside Storyline 360, but Storyline 3 only has a few, minimum triggers that you need. But Storyline 3 as well as Storyline 360, if you are using Storyline 3, you can call in Storyline 360. If you are using Storyline 360, you want to go back to Storyline 3, definitely you can as well. That's the difference.
Oh.
Yeah. So some of the softwares you cannot backtrack, right?
Yeah.
But this software you can.
I see. But eventually for both software, it still found out that Articulate 360 have
It's
a
still
better,
the best, yeah.
Better choice. So yeah, now you know which one is the best for you. All right, next. Okay. Well, do you provide customized training or consultations for storyboarding?
Storyboarding, that's an interesting one. We can provide, okay. Now, last week's training, if not mistaken, one person actually asked us whether you have a template for storyboard. Okay, I recall that because one of the head is here and he asked me whether you have a storyboard template, okay. But I told him that storyboard itself, it means that what are you trying to churn out first, okay? That means you got different storyboards for different purposes. So we do not have a template, definitely, but we can actually guide you what is the best one. So we are actually making use of Storyline to create all of our storyboards. Sometimes for video, we churn out differently. Sometimes for interaction, we also churn out differently. So yes, we can provide support and consultation as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Lina. So yeah, I think that there's more questions popping in. So next, as an experienced developer, one of the toughest skills as a developer is the programming side of the development. Any tips that new learners can learn them at a fast pace?
This is a very interesting one.
Yeah.
Now, based on the training that I've conducted multiple times, a lot of them actually ask me, how can I be an expert? Okay, expert in a few days, okay? So I relate to them is that our content development team definitely will open up Storyline every day, 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day. So they are practicing every day, okay? But I also understand that BAU, the business as usual, for participant side is important. So that's where they open up maybe 1 to 2 hours sometimes. So they need longer time. I can't say for sure. Some people learn it very differently. Sometimes they learn while they see certain videos and they can catch already. Some people need practice as well. So it depends on the learner's capabilities and skills. Okay, so like last week, we had around 15 people of them for the participants. I could actually identify some of the key champions already, okay? And some of them, they need to rely on certain key champions to actually guide them. So that's why sometimes is that we are able to guide them further, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's good to know. So meaning that it's more on like what is the duration, how much effort that we have put in. Then it's not regarding on the durations. Maybe I was using it, let's say, for a year or two, but the usage time especially is very minimal.
Yeah, so meaning that if you want to get good grades, you need to study, am I right? So if you want to create e-learning content, meaning you need to practice. Okay, so this is where hand in hand, I would say.
I see. Yeah, this is so-called the practice makes perfect.
Yes, that's right.
All right, let's move to the next questions. Okay, for content developed under trial version, can we download the SCORM files?
Content developed under trial version, you can publish, okay? You can publish as a SCORM file. I don't call it download. I'll call it that you can publish into a SCORM file, and then you can upload the SCORM file into your learning management system. Now, once your content is SCORM compliant, your LMS, your learning management system is SCORM compliant as well, then only it can communicate. That is an important feature. So now, throughout the training, the trainers will be able to explain that concept to you. System side of things, you can treat it like a library system. Content authoring is another system, is an application, nothing to do with learning management system. Okay, so when you say download, I'm not sure what are you referring to, but we can publish into SCORM or different standards for that. Okay.
So meaning that even though with free trial account, so when I mean as a user, when I downloaded the content, will that be something like like some
a watermark?
Yeah, something like a watermark.
There's no watermark.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, there's no watermark.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So we have last 2 more questions to go. Okay. There are a few templates available in Storyline, but somehow the logic behind the templates curated will not be understood by the developers. Would it be crucial for developers to understand the instructional design part?
Okay, this one I think is like you have 2 different parties inside. Okay, few templates available in Storyline. I don't say there's a few, there's a lot of templates definitely. And plus the logic behind the template, sometimes how you study the template, that's one thing. Okay, developers, whether they are instructional designers or even multimedia designers or even graphic designers. Okay, now last week I actually met this content head, the e-learning head itself, and I told him he is looking for one person. Okay, one person, graphic designer, multimedia designer. Okay, and I told him that multimedia designer and graphic designer, you cannot find this person with the ID skills, instructional design skills, and he agrees with me. Okay, definitely there will be communication gaps between that. So that's where it depends on what kind of people that you have as well in order to understand the templates. So sometimes how you will go about it, definitely I open the template, I first run through it, preview it. Okay, preview, then I see what is the outcome first. How can I achieve this outcome? And then I run through the triggers. Every trigger, I click into one option, study the triggers, what it does. Sometimes you also incur with variables, then sometimes it also incurs with different states. Now, all these terminologies I know is new to you. Okay, once you're on board with the training, then that's good. Okay, and plus, sometimes is that different slides work together as well, or different layers work together as well. So that is why Storyline is more complex, I would say, that you need certain help into consulting even. Okay, yeah.
All right, so meaning that you recommend that in a team or in an organizations, it's best to have different, I mean, like what you mentioned, explaining just now, like instructional design and multimedia or either graphic designer, both under the same team.
Yes.
It works well.
Yeah, because instructional designers are better in the language side, I would say. Then they can churn out whatever creative ideas, but they are not, to say, very good inside the graphic side. Okay, based on our experience when we are recruiting people. So for the graphic designers, they are good in creative. They are good in, let's say, creating videos, graphic side, plus the programmers also is good at programming. They know heck about graphic design, I can tell you that. So that's why you need a team of people if you want to start up an e-learning. Basically, first start off with instructional designers. Okay, then you can move on to create your recruit graphic designers or multimedia designers after that. Yeah, I would suggest that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So meaning that right now, if let's say you are planning to have your own team, so yeah, this is where you're able to identify who will be the right persons to be involved in this particular team.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, this is our very last questions. Can I know the fee structures for all the programs? Well, that's good. So no worries. I think Elena may not be the right person to answer the questions, but our sales team will be able to assist you with these questions. No worries after the call. So our team will be able to connect you shortly.
Yeah.
All right.
So because we have the different programs like 5 days, 3 days, 1 day, and dedicated training, so meaning that you need to inform us what do you need first. What kind of requirements do you need? Whether you need a dedicated training, then we can provide the outline to you. We can actually come up with the pricing to you as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Elena.
Thank
so
you.
I think that's all our last questions for today. Sorry if we can't cover your questions, but our team will be respond to you separately. Yeah. So once again, thank you, Elena, for your great sharing today. And I hope that all of you have a better insights towards Articulate 360. All right. So our webinar session is close to the end, but before that, I have a few announcements to be made. So firstly, you will be getting an email from us to share your feedback. Also, do let us know if there are any topics you hope to join in the future. And next, our upcoming webinar topics will be talent LMS for hybrid learning. So this is a trend where people are working in hybrid mode, and so does the learning. For this upcoming webinar, we are going to have a great speaker from Epignosis to share this topic. You can find out more on our website. Okay, well, this webinar is a wrap, so we hope that you had a great session with us today, and we see you in our next webinar. Bye!
Talent LMS for Hybrid Learning webinar. Check out how we can revolutionize hybrid learning with Talent LMS. About hybrid learning has become the new norm. What are its benefits, especially when utilizing a learning management system like Talent LMS? Trainers and educators alike sometimes struggle with producing engaging lessons for their hybrid learners. Hence, this webinar will address those pain points and determine methods on how we can combat these issues. Used cases will be discussed. Our speaker, Chris, is head of alliances at Epignosis. Chris has been with Epignosis for over 12 years, enjoying the transition from a startup to market leader in the learning management category. Epignosis is a vendor of e-learning solutions, Talent LMS, eFront, and Talent Cards, and on a mission to democratize learning through the delivery of best-in-class digital learning solutions focused on superior ease of use and disruptive pricing. Topics in this webinar. Some of the topics we will be covering include how hybrid learning can help learners because learners can get the best of both worlds. Learners get to attend physical classes and also complete online coursework. Learners get to collaborate with one another seamlessly. Learners get a more enriching learning experience because they get to rely on online research. See you there. Scan to register.